Sebastian here, curator of the Sonic Symphonic podcast, composer of the Kalasin series of albums, and much more along the way. Links to all my stuff below if you want to check it out. So I'm having a day today where I'm just going through all of my submissions and doing all the reviews that's been requested of me, and today's something a little bit different and quite uncanny, because I just did a review video for another band, and that band was Anaphora, and I mentioned about an 80s goth band called Fields of The Nephilim. Unbeknownst to me, once I read the submission, and it kind of get mentioned again. So okay, let's get into this. We're going to talk about a guy called Arrington. His music is a combination of hard rock, gothic rock, blues rock. He's on all music streaming platforms. He's a musician, songwriter, producer, singer. His musical interests date back to as far back to the early 30s and kind of ends sort of around the 90s. You know, he's into stuff, you know, from Bob Crosby, Bing Crosby, Benny Goodman, and all the way through to bands such as Nirvana, Pantera, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Alice in Chains. Rock and roll was his first type of music, and he was first introduced when the first Guitar Hero came out in 2005. I never actually gave that a whirl. Maybe I'm a little bit old for that now. And he says his main influence comes from the 80s gothic rock band Fields of The Nephilim. So yeah, okay. There's a single that he's asked me to review. There's a bit of a video that goes along with that. So we're going to do that now. It's called "Someone's Gonna Suffer." Brackets revisited. He's got he says on all the streaming platforms. I'm gonna chuck a few links and what have you below. But yeah, let's get into this video. Swashbuckling pirate stuff. Okay, cool. Hey, this is different. Everyone's gonna suffer. Okay, so there was something a little bit different. It's just my mic and stuff. Definitely caught this. I can feel the Fields of The Nephilim influence. You've got those overtone high melodic guitars doing ding 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 ding. You know, that sort of go over the rhythm section along with everything else. I feel like maybe some of the distorted guitars, rhythm guitars, could have been sort of louder and more present in the mix. Yeah, I think everything in the mix was clear. Just didn't feel so well blended. The vocal identity, okay, yeah. I mean, it's I can see where Arrington is coming from on this one. It's sort of a Leonard Cohen-esque type, Fields of the Nephilim type vibe. It's worth mentioning that Arrington is from Dallas, so you've kind of got that, and forgive me if I'm being slightly geographically incorrect, but you've got that kind of sort of southern sort of the American influence that you sort of see on the movies and here. It's got kind of sort of a drawl to it, which I kind of quite liked. I think in some of the intonations, once we got past the first verse into the first chorus, there's a couple of bits there where perhaps the tuning was not quite on point, which is fine, as long as you've got the vocal sort of identity and the music sort of bigger and uplifting to kind of not hide it, but to kind of sort of blend with it. I don't think this is the most polished production that I've heard. But who am I to be critical over one's art? It's just there's something here. There's something here. The I heard blasphemy. Yeah, it's a good line, but it just seemed to cut in and be sort of separated from everything else. I'd maybe have a look at the sort of how better to deliver this kind of music. But I can imagine this being with just a bit more uplift on the rhythm, with just a bit more sort of oomph in there. That voice would carry that. It would enable the voice to carry that far more sort of compellingly. Some of the guitar solo work, I think maybe was a bit concordant. It was a bit out, a bit off. Sort of in terms of key. I don't know if that's sort of deliberate, but without the mood of say a stronger rhythm section, it's hard to make that kind of stuff work, because the solos are just so bright and in your face that you focusing on that melody and on where that's slipping out of key. But I kind of get what it's about. It's something a bit different. The lyrical and the pirate theme, I'm not quite sure how that kind of all fits in to the story, but maybe that's I need to sort of be sort of better privy to the full album. But okay, it's a reasonable effort. I mean, I don't like giving sort of too much criticism in my reviews, because I'm all about the empowerment of musicians. And as much as I'd say, to any musician, no matter what it is that they're creating, whether it's well produced, whether it's not well produced, whether it's well played, whether it's not well played, whether it's part of a development and learning process, I always would insist that the musicians keeps at their craft. But in the case of Arrington, I feel that there is so much more that could be done to kind of really elevate the sonosphere that he's captured at this stage. And that's where I would really like to see his focus, you know, put on, you know, a more blended production, you know, a bigger sound, because with a voice that's going in the direction that is in terms of tonality, I feel a lot more strength is needed. The guitar solo tone, maybe have a look at some tone plugins, things like that. You know, make it sort of fatter, wider. You know, maybe some keys in there to sort of create the more of the Nephilim mood. But you know, I can imagine this sort of this pirate theme stuff in a like a, you know, sort of a southern country type Texas sort of bar, you know, sort of Tarantino style movie-esque kind of scene, camera panning. Yeah, so it has captured the imagination. And you know, I commend Harrington for you know, for doing what he's done. But like anything, I think, you know, just that little you know, investment, it in the whole structure and in the whole soundscape, and, you know, the mix and the production, and maybe some time. I don't know, Arrington, if you're one of those guys that kind of puts all your stuff together and maybe rushes it out for the sake of getting out. I've been guilty of that. Some of my stuff is absolutely horrendously produced. You know, maybe if that's the case, maybe it's you know, it's a case of slow down. Get yourself a sort of a peer group. I notice you're quite busy on SoundCloud with your followers and stuff. You know, a trick I see some people do is kind of upload their works in progress and get sort of comments and feedback and stuff. I know it's hard to sort of judge a crowd and then the validity of a crowd's comments, but you know, you can get pushed in the right direction. But yeah, okay, so, you know, I'm going to leave some links and stuff. You know, I hope I haven't been too unfair. It's just such a completely different style of thing to hit my inbox, and yeah, but it's not without its merits. So there we go. That was Arrington, and Someone's Going to Suffer Revisited. I've been Ben Sebastian, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you can take something from it.